Hello and welcome to your 75-minute restorative practice. My name is Sandy and I will be guiding you through the next hour and 15 minutes. So this video is primarily for my students who are at Yoga Weyr with me, but if anyone else happens to find this video, welcome. A little bit of information for this restorative practice if you are new to the practice. This is a practice that's meant to restore. It's meant to bring us back to a balance point. It's meant to find that homeostasis. So we move in wave patterns all day long. This is the natural state of being human, but we're trying to bring back a gentle wave. We don't want any extreme peaks in the crests and troughs. We definitely don't want a flat line. So restorative is a practice that works with our breath. It opens up our fascia tissues. The practice and the poses are held for anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes, usually between 5 and 7 for the poses that I'm going to be choosing today. And what you will need are a few props. Now, ideally, if you can get a bolster, it's a really good prop to have. You can get that online at a lot of places. And if you don't, then a couple of pillows, especially if you have king-size pillows, those would be really useful. Yoga blocks are really a key prop for restorative practice because we use it to build up things to help support our bodies. And then if you have a smaller pillow, a meditation cushion, or just any other pillow is a good support to have. And the final piece is I recommend having a blanket of some kind. Now this blanket can go underneath you, unfolded as an extra layer on your mat, or many times we use it as an extra prop. So you might end up rolling it up in different ways, putting it under different curvatures of your body, like your ankles, behind your knees, and those kinds of things. But we will explain that as the class goes on. So beginning to find the most comfortable place on your mat. Traditionally, we are in Shavasana, so that's lying on your back. Your legs are long, your arms are down by your side, palms facing upwards, fingers curl in naturally. Those fingers are really important because that is a sign where we're often holding our tension. So if you notice you're making fists or your fingers are really straightened out, just simply observe that because that can tell you where your tension is. Since this is a restorative practice, this is where we want the body held in as many different ways that it can. So that means supporting all of the natural curves of your body. So while you're in your Shavasana, you might decide to put one pillow under your head. If you have a bolster, you might put it under your knees, or if you have another pillow, you might put it under your knees, or stack a few pillows up just to find any support under those natural curves of your body. Once you have found your shape and you've started to settle in, you're going to begin to notice the sensations of your body. So we take in our world through our senses. Now, many times in yoga, it's almost like you're trying to escape a little bit. But we find that we get the most restoration if we find ourselves returned into our body. And the way we do that is through our sensory experience. So begin to notice what you feel. Starting to notice like the pressure points on your body, the backs of your calves, your shoulders, the back of your head. Just experiencing what that feels like. And start to really notice those contact points. Notice that your attention or awareness travels around your body. Maybe you do notice it in one part and then suddenly the sensation is an awareness in another part of your body. Just letting the natural rhythm of your breath for now. No need to control it. Then you'll begin to tap into your other senses. your sense of taste, for example. Maybe it feels odd to be thinking about taste when you're lying on your back. But just notice, there may be some toothpaste, taste of coffee. And continue that awareness of your sense of touch and maybe your sense of taste. And then begin to notice your sense of smell. What do you notice in your room? Maybe it's your laundry detergent, some deodorant, maybe the wood floor, something that has your awareness simply into your sense of smell. And then what do you notice behind your closed eyes? Are there shapes, colors, maybe memories? If you notice it's really busy in there, maybe open your eyes just a little bit, gaze down your nose, soften your focus, and come back into this space. Continuing traveling through your senses. And then the sense of sound. What do you notice with sound? Sound is a very tangible experience of vibration. Sound rises and it falls. And as you start to listen to the singing bowls, really see if you can experience that transition of coming and going, the understanding that nothing is permanent. Stay with your awareness of your senses. now that you are fully present in your body, we're going to pay more attention to our breath. Taking a deep inhale, fill up your belly, fill up your ribs, fill up your chest. Exhale, release your chest, soften your ribs, relax your belly. Take another deep breath in. Notice your diaphragm muscle. It's kind of that spaceship-shaped muscle under your rib cage. That should be expanding fully, pressing up to the ceiling, out to the side and to the back, onto your mat. So that is the muscle that allows us to breathe. It is the muscle that pushes our lungs. And if that's not being worked, then we have less efficiency in our breath. Many times we hold our breath, or we actually even reverse breathe, where we actually suck in our belly on the inhale, but we want to expand the belly, expand the ribs on the inhale, and then move into our chest. So again, breathing in, belly, ribs, chest, then letting go, chest, ribs, belly. So you can continue that rhythm of breath on your own, or there's some other options for breath that might work for you. If you want to imagine your breath coming right from your root chakra, your energy center, imagine your breath there, right at the base of your torso. Inhale, fill up your sacral space, your belly, then your ribs, your solar plexus, your heart space fills. Imagine the breath going through your throat, through the center of your head, and all the way to the crown of your head. And then letting that go completely from crown all the way back to root. Again, take a deep inhale, fill up. Exhale, release. So you use this breath also to help guide you through any areas of discomfort. As fascia tissue starts to open, especially if it hasn't been used or you haven't been having mobility for quite some time, the fascia tissue starts to release and expand, and that can actually be slightly uncomfortable. The important thing to note is the difference between pain and discomfort. So pain is a really sharp, acute sensation. It is your body's signal to say, don't do that, you've got an injury, take rest, or move away from that movement. Sensation is that kind of dull, achy, slow release that you get sometimes when the fascia tissue starts to open. We are needing to go through sensation. That is how we start to find more mobility. And it is a little bit uncomfortable. But just looking for the difference between pain versus sensation. One is a don't do and the other is breathe through. So use your breath to guide through when things start to release and soften. Your props will be there to support you through your poses. So a few more breaths to find something that is going to guide you through your practice. And then we will get started. So now that you have found your breath, now that you have settled into your body, we're going to begin wiggling our fingers and toes, just waking yourself up, rolling out wrists and ankles in both directions, getting all those cracks and pops out. Maybe bending elbows and knees, maybe a gentle rock of your head from side to side. Then you'll bring both legs together, arms up overhead, maybe removing your bolster or pillow, and give yourself a great big pencil stretch. So reach it out, arms extend, feel that. Maybe notice you have a yawn or a sigh in there. In fact, we're going to do that 2 more times. Reach it out, inhale, and then let it go, sigh. One more time, give it all you've got, reach it out, And then let it go. Next breath in will bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. You can wrap your arms around your shins or hamstrings. And then take this opportunity to give yourself a little back massage by rocking back and forth, side to side. From here, we'll move into half wind reliever pose. So your right leg will stay in, your left leg will extend long on the mat. Both sets of toes up to the ceiling. The toes up to the ceiling, the ankles flex will protect your knee joints. So that's especially important on the bent leg. Hands can go around your right shin or hamstring. And then begin by rocking your right knee to the outside of your torso and then back to the midline. To the outside, back to the midline. Just massaging out the hip crease. You can maybe take that knee up more towards your armpit and then maybe back down towards the bottom of your mat. A little bit more of a circular motion. Following your breath. And then you're going to stop at a place that has no pinching sensation. So that's that explanation of pain versus sensation. Often in our hip creases there's an area that's a little bit sharp, so just avoiding that area. And then you're going to take 4 deep breaths. So take an inhale, fill up so much that your knee slightly drifts from your torso, and then on an exhale squeeze that leg back into your body. Do that 3 more times with your own breath. And then we'll start to open up the hamstrings slightly by starting to straighten your right leg, keeping as much of a bend in your leg as you need, because that is your body's natural safety mechanism for not overstretching your hamstring. Ankle is flexed again like you're going to stand on the ceiling. Hands come behind your thigh, maybe to your calf or maybe peace finger to big toe. And then you're going to take 3 big breaths again. Press the foot sole up to the ceiling on the inhale. And then exhale, draw the toes back towards the top of your head as though you could tap the floor above your head. Obviously listening to your body, and that's not a likely position for most of us, but that's the energy guiding towards the top of your head with your toes. A couple more breaths, pressing up on the inhale, drawing toes back on the exhale. Once you've completed with your own breath, everybody's breath is going to be a little bit different in length and depth. Then bring both knees back into your chest and give yourself a squeeze, maybe a little rock back and forth again. And then we'll go to the other side. So right leg goes long, left leg stays in, hands around the shin or thigh, and toes to the ceiling. And then you'll start that rocking motion again, the knee out to the side of the torso and back to the midline, to the outside, the midline, maybe up to the armpit and then back down towards the bottom of the mat, just getting some mobility in that hip. Following your breath. And then again, you'll stop at a place that's not pinching in your hip crease and take 4 big breaths. So fill up so much that your knee drifts from your torso. And then exhale, squeeze the leg back in towards your body. Do that 3 more times. Next inhale is going to start to straighten the left leg, keeping the bend as you need, and again supporting your leg where you need it. Ankle flexed, foot sole to the ceiling, take 3 breaths. Inhale, press up. Exhale, draw toes back. Do that 2 more times. Once your breaths are complete, you're going to bring your knees back into your chest and give yourself another squeeze. And then you're going to move into a transition fetal position. So rolling over to your right side. Your arm can go overhead and be your pillow if you're not already using a pillow, or you can just simply rest your head on a pillow. Arms rest where they feel most comfortable, and then allow yourself to have your eyes closed and settle in. We'll do about 4 or 5 breaths here, just noticing what it feels like to be in a different position than on your back, allowing you to feel that sensation of rest. Using your hands, you'll begin to slowly press yourself up. And then make your way into a comfortable seated position where we will do the little bit more active part of our restorative practice, just to get our body a little warmer so that it helps open that fascia tissue. So making your way into a comfortable seated position, your ankles can be crossed. You can have one shin in front of the other. It might help to sit on a pillow so your hips are slightly elevated. It helps to keep your shoulders over your hips if they're slightly elevated, so that might work better for you. If your legs start getting numb or uncomfortable, remember you can always extend them out, shake them out, and let that go, and then return back to seated position. So we're doing a thing I like to call head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So we're going to begin with some simple head and neck exercises. So take a deep inhale, lift your chin to the ceiling, and then exhale back through center, chin to your chest. Again, when you are lifting up, making sure you're mindful of your neck. So our neck can bend backwards, but if you have any neck injury or issues, remembering to be mindful that you are paying attention to that and don't lift your head all the way up to the ceiling. Really listen to your body. This is what restorative teaches us, to start to fine-tune all those subtle experiences and take care of our bodies before things sort of get bigger. So again, a few more with your own breath. And then you'll stop at center, and you'll take your chin over across to your right shoulder, back through center, over to the left, following your breath. Inhale and exhale. And a few more times. And then you'll stop at center. You'll take your right hand to the left side of your head and then gently tip your right ear to your right shoulder. If it feels okay for you, you can lift your chin slightly to the ceiling. And you might even feel like doing a little bit of a neck massage by taking your hand up and down onto the side of your neck. This can also stimulate the vagus nerve. Again, with your breath. And a gentle release so that your head doesn't spring back. And then we'll go the other side. Left hand to the right side of your head, left ear to left shoulder. Chin can tip up slightly, and then the option to give yourself a little neck massage. Deep inhale. And full exhale. A reminder, it's the exhale that takes us out of our sympathetic nervous system and brings us a state of calm. So always remembering to fully exhale. And then a gentle release. And then taking any gentle movement, maybe small circles, maybe tipping your head to side, a little bit more gently up and down, whatever feels good organically. And then we'll get into our shoulders. So taking your right arm across your chest and then taking your left arm under your right tricep like a bicep curl. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, squeeze that right arm closer into your body with your left arm. Option to start to slide the right arm up and down, just getting you a little bit more into that shoulder. A couple more breaths. And then gentle release. Other side, left arm across the chest, and then right arm bicep curl under the left tricep. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, squeeze the arm in closer to your body again. Option to slide it up and down if that feels good for you. Couple more breaths. Gentle release, and then again maybe some shoulder shrugs. Other way. We'll get into our hands a little bit. So you're going to take your right hand out like you're saying stop, and then take your left hand onto your right fingers and draw your hand back or your fingers back towards your face as you press your palm away from you. Take another deep breath in. Exhale. A couple more breaths on your own. And then you're going to flip the hand the other way so the fingers point down, the palm still facing you, and use your left hand to draw your fingers towards your wrist. Take 3 big breaths, maybe 4. Everyone's breath duration is slightly different. So listening again to your body, your rhythm. You might feel like shaking that out. And then go the other side. So right hand to left fingers, draw them back, press the palm out for 3, 2, 1, and then flip it over, other side, fingers down, palm towards you, draw the fingers up towards your wrist for 3, 2, 1, and then you can let it go, maybe shake it out. So then you can bring your hands together, interlace your fingers, do some wrist rolls. And you can change to the grip that feels weird, and then go the direction that feels weird too. And then let it go. Shake it out. So getting into the knees portion, if you have socks on and if you have a hardwood floor, if you're on carpet, this might not be so easy, but you can give it a go. Just, you need something that will reduce friction. So if you have a blanket that's a little bit more slippery, you have some hardwood floor, taking the blanket or socks out in front of you, and you're going to have your knees up to the ceiling, feet and knees are about hip width distance. You can use your hands for support, and then begin sliding your feet along the floor and then bringing them back up. Again, sliding them out, bringing them back up. A few more times with your own breath. If you don't have a floor that's slippery, you can simply take your feet about mat width distance and even slightly wider, and then just windshield wiper back and forth. Couple more breaths. And finally, we'll get into some toes. So legs out in front. Simply hands down by your side, legs extended, point your toes. And then bring your toes back towards your face. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. And do this a few more times on your own. Point and flex. And then try to spread your toes as wide as possible. You can do that while you're kind of pointing and flexing. We call that kind of a floint, flex and point at the same time. But especially when you flex back, see if you can spread your toes as wide as possible. So now that we've done our head, shoulders, knees, and toes, you can bring yourself back into a comfortable seated position. Again, if you want a pillow under your hips, we're going to get into a full range of motion through a practice called Circle of Joy. So we're going to start with our hands on our laps. We're going to do this 3 times. So the first time I'm going to cue quite a bit. The second time I'm going to cue a little bit less. And by the third time, we're just going to move with breath. Now you can do this standing, but right now we're going to do the seated version, and if I do make another video, I will show the standing version of Circle of Joy. There's just a few little differences. So we'll begin with our hands on our laps. Take a deep breath in, bring your arms up, inhale, hands up, palms toward each other. Now bring them together. Bring them down through heart center, halfway through. Interlace your fingers, press your palms down, tuck your chin. Inhale, sweep your arms in front and all the way up. Line your arms up towards your ears the best you can. And then exhale, release your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers and press your knuckles down, tuck your chin. Inhale, bring your arms up, cactus your arms, pull your heart through, chin up. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm up and over, tip over to the right side. Inhale all the way up, left arm comes down, right arm over, tip over to the left. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way around, tense your right fingers behind you, left hand goes to the outside of your right thigh, twist to the right. Inhale, sweep all the way around, tent left fingers, right hand, left thigh, twist over to the left. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way back up, hands through heart center. At heart center, hold for a breath, close your eyes if that's comfortable. We'll do this again. Inhale, hands up, palms face. Exhale through heart center, interlace, press down. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, interlace your hands behind you, press your knuckles down, tuck your chin. Inhale, cactus your arms, pull your heart through. Exhale, tip over to the right. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, tip over to the left. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way around. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, sweep all the way around. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, back up through heart, up to the ceiling. And then bring your hands down through heart center. Hold for a breath. And then we'll do this one final time on your own with your own breath. And if you can't remember what to do this first couple times, then just ad lib as long as you go through some range of motion. We'll begin. Once you get to heart center for this last one, hold for 3 breaths. If you had your eyes closed, you can slowly open them, come back into the room, and then you'll make your way to standing for the more balance and the rest of the active practice. So find yourself a piece of wall and have your 2 yoga blocks side by side. Then you'll begin to step onto the yoga blocks, but just with the ball of your feet. So you're going to have the arch and your heel off the block. From there, you're going to lower your heels down towards the ground and then begin to lift your heels to the ceiling as high as you can. So getting into the foot fascia and the flexion of the ball of the foot. Then inhale, drop the heels down. Exhale, lifting up. Now that is one breathing technique that works. In yoga we often talk about whenever you lift up, you inhale. And heels can come down on the exhale, but there's some schools of thought with the most exertion is where the exhale comes. So you can figure out what feels best for you with that. Again, a few more times. If your balance is feeling really good, you can maybe see what it feels like to let go of the wall. Just being very mindful not to fall off the blocks. And then you can step down, let it go, put the blocks aside. Now we're going to get into a little bit of dynamic movement into our hips. So grounding into the foot that's closest to the wall. So feel your foot really connected to the floor, or if your mat is there. One hand on the wall. If you feel really good with your balance, you can not use the wall. Then we'll toe tap the other toes and then lift that foot up. So the leg is at about a 90-degree angle, ankle flexed, the legs out in front. And then you're going to kick that leg back, sweep by the standing leg, and extend behind you. Inhale, back up in front. Exhale, kick behind you. Do that 3 more times on your own. And when you're complete, let go. And then switch sides. So same thing, ground through the standing leg, toe tap the other toes to start. Once you feel your stability, you can pick up the other leg, ankle flex, knee at about 90, inhale, and then exhale, kick behind you. Inhale in front, exhale behind. 3 more times on your own. And when you're complete, you can let that go. You might feel like you need a few hip circles because that can get into the glute muscles a little bit. Other way. And other way again. And then one more balance. So you can again use the wall, but I'm going to demonstrate this facing front so you can see the leg. So going back to the original leg that was down first, you're going to ground through that foot and then toe tap the toes again. This time you're going to turn the knee out to the side, and then the option to kickstand heel to ankle or foot to calf, or bringing the foot all the way to the inner thigh for tree pose. Once you've got your stability, you can bring your hands to heart center. Option to bring your hands up overhead or maybe out to a Y shape, forefinger and thumb can connect. Remember, one hand can be on the wall. So the first breath of this is getting into that shape, getting that comfort in that shape. Once you are in that shape, return back to your breath if you lost it. And by the third breath, you're fully in the pose, almost in a meditative state. One more breath. And then you'll bring the knee forward and put the foot down if that's possible. If you fall out of it, that's okay. We learn how to balance by actually falling. So if we're in perfect static balance all the time, our body doesn't understand what it's like to fall, so it doesn't know how to correct from a fall. It's only when we get a little bit wobbly, it's how our body learns to return back to that baseline. So other side, grounding through the other foot, toe tapping the toes, turning the knee out to the side. Option, heel to ankle, foot to calf, or foot to inner thigh. Once you've got the shape of the legs, again, the arms can come into play. You can keep them at your heart. Maybe you want to do something different than you did last time. Maybe interlace your hands behind your back. Whatever it is that feels right for you. First breath, shape. Second breath is noticing your breath. And by the third breath, you are fully in the pose. A couple more breaths in the shape that you're in. And then the knee can come forward, the foot can come down, and let it go. And then we're ready to go back to the ground for the rest of our restorative practice. So the first shape we're going to get into is supported happy baby. You'll be lying on your back. You can have a pillow under your head. And if you have a bolster, you're going to take that up to your chest. If you don't have a bolster, you're going to bring a pillow or two up onto your torso. Then you're going to take one leg over the pillow, followed by the other, crossing at the ankles. Your arms will come to the top of the pillow or bolster and simply give it a hug. So finding your breath here. This is just a gentle hip opener. You'll begin to really sink into your breath now. For this part of the restorative is the restorative part. If you want to do traditional happy baby, you can bring your legs to 90 degrees, foot soles to the ceiling, arms come inside the legs, and then hands reach to the outside of the feet, or peace fingers to big toes. If that doesn't work for you, you can keep your hands onto your hamstrings. If you're doing this traditional happy baby, you press your feet up to the ceiling as you draw your hands down in onto your feet or onto your thighs, guiding your knees towards the floor. This is your restorative portion, so you will start to find your breath here. And we will be holding this now for a little bit of time. So if you did traditional happy baby, you might want to change partway through. And I will guide you to change the cross of your ankles partway through. Remembering, return to your breath if you're feeling any discomfort. Changing the shape if you're feeling actual pain. And then see if you can really settle into this pose, letting go of the monkey mind. And that is that return to breath every single time. You can change the cross of your ankles, or maybe shift into a different version of this pose. And return to your breath. So between each pose, we're going to move through some transitional breaths, 5 deep breaths. So the first breath is going to be simply starting to wake back up. You've been in kind of a meditative state for a while, starting to orient yourself back into the space, into your body. And then by breath 3, you might start a little bit of movement, maybe removing your props. And then by breath 5, you are completely released from the pose and ready to make your way into your next shape. For this class, we're going to go through a range of motion for our spine. So we're starting with a side bend. You will take your pillow or bolster And however deep you want to get into this side bend, you'll decide if you want one pillow or two. And you're going to roll to your right hip. You're going to bring your right hip right up to the pillow or bolster, and then rolling over the side. Now, a single pillow isn't going to give you a very deep bend, so you might want two. And like I said, if you have the bolster, that can be useful. Another pillow for your head will be helpful. And your legs will be stacked as you roll over the side. So again, right up to the hip, following the natural curve of your body. Another pillow or two under your head. Your right arm can go through that space between the pillows out to the side. The knees can be bent or extended. Now, the other option of this pose is to extend the arms right up overhead and bring your palms to touch. The other option is to bring a block between your palms. So we want this to get into a side bend, but remember, we're going to hold this pose for a while. So find a shape that you can maintain until I guide you to move out of that. So be the most comfortable that you can, but getting into the side of the right body. Once you feel comfortable in the shape, you can reclose your eyes, connect with your breath. Just continuing that meditative state, allowing the tissue to open. To transition to the other side. If you want those 5 big restorative transitional breaths, you can do that, or just enough breath and awareness to roll over to the other side. The same thing, just flipping over. I'm demonstrating so I can keep facing camera. Having the pillows, about 2/3 up the mat, left hip down, having a thick enough cushion so that you will feel something in the side bend, rolling the left side over. Again, knees can be tucked, legs can be extended, head on the pillow or not, arms up overhead with a block between your hands or not. It can be sort of more of a fetal position if the arms overhead doesn't feel good for your shoulders. And then back to your breath. Allow yourself to feel held in this pose. Notice the sensation in your body. Any discomfort, remember you can move through, but any pain, you avoid that shape. Taking your 5 deep transitional breaths and coming back to awareness for the first couple breaths. Maybe taking some movement, releasing props by breath 3. And then by breath 5, making your way completely out of your pose and ready for your next shape. Our next shape is going to be a supported forward fold. So there's lots of different options for supported forward folds, but this is the one that is the most common and usually the most accessible for most people. So taking your pillows or your bolster under your knees, and from here you can simply fold your torso over your thighs and reach towards your feet. But most of us need a little extra support because that can get a little too deep. So the options are to take some of your other props, pillows, maybe a few blocks, and then you might be able to fold over. In fact, these blocks probably would feel better right on your thighs, pillow over top, folding over. Now, if that's not working for you and you need to come a little higher, you could simply put your elbows down, head in your hands, and allow yourself to drop into the shape. And the reason we do an inversion is because inversions take us out of our sympathetic nervous system, which allows us to be out of fight or flight mode. So this is important for us to get our head down for some of these shapes. But if that fold is not working at all for you, and this is really only an option if you have a bolster, because pillows usually aren't solid enough. But you could take a wide leg shape, bring the bolster at about a 45-degree angle, and use your head to prop up the bolster for your inversion. Then finding the shape that works for you. Once you've settled into that shape, reconnect with your breath, and I'll let you know when it's time to move. Next pose, I will give you a few options too. A lot of it is because you might not have a bolster or a stiff enough support to really support you, but I like to call this one lounge chair. So taking your blocks to the back of your mat. One block will be the highest height it can go, and then the next block will be about a block's width in between at the medium height. You will take your bolster against the blocks. And I haven't actually tried this with the pillows before, so I'm going to see if it's supported enough or not, which it looks like it might just be. And then you bring your low back all the way up to the edge of the pillows or bolster and lie back. Arms can come out to the side. If that doesn't feel good for your shoulders, maybe one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Legs extended out. If you have any shoulder issues or anything like that, you might need to take another cushion if you decided to have your arms out wide, something to support in these other areas. If you want to get into the hips a little bit more, you can take your foot soles wide, or foot soles together, knees wide, and open up into butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. Now the next option is if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can release the blocks and turn your pillows sideways to the short edge of your mat. And again, hips all the way to the pillows or bolster if you have, and rolling backwards over the mat. Now this might be too much for your head to go all the way back without, again, some support under your neck and head. And then again, the options are legs can be straight across your torso or butterfly pose. Now if you have chosen butterfly pose, so in the other option, if you have an extra set of blocks and you're trying to just support your legs against the gravity that's going to draw into your hip creases, you can put blocks under your thighs. Or if you chose this deeper back bend and you still have a set of blocks, you can put them again under your thighs. Once you've found your shape, again, returning to breath. Allowing yourself to be present in the pose. Noticing any monkey mind things coming up, and just allow it to be recognized. There's no need to really control it, but just observe it like a cloud passing. Stay with breath, maybe the music. 5 deep breaths. Awareness. Some gentle movements. And finally, by breath 5, you're out of your pose. Maybe it feels best to roll to your side and then press yourself up. But the next pose is going to be on our back, so you might not press yourself all the way up. And we'll get into our final shape, which will be a reclined twist. Again, lying on your back, you'll take a pillow or two or a bolster right up to your right hip and almost all the way to your armpit. Then you're going to roll all the way over onto your right side and bring your left leg up and over onto the pillows or bolster. Now we're wanting to get into a twist, but there's an option if this feels a little bit too much. Your arms are going to come out to a T and you're going to open up your heart to the ceiling. Now if you're finding your arms are kind of hanging out in space, you can put blocks under your hands and or shoulders to support that. If this is just way too intense for you and you don't want as deep of a twist, then you can turn this more into a fetal position and it's more of a leg and hip opener. But again, option to open up into that T. And then imagine your breath running all the way from your tailbone to the crown of your head. On the inhales and on the exhales, maybe you'll notice a little bit more room to twist. Finding your breath. You'll begin to start to wake up from this a little bit, maybe not taking the full 5 transitional breaths because we're going to the other side. So again, starting on your back, bolster or pillows all the way up onto the left side, and then rolling to your left side, right leg comes up and over, arms open to a T, and again, whatever support you need under your hands, your shoulders, whatever props you can find available that might help that. And then returning to your breath. Remember, the option is that kind of fetal position instead. Taking anything under your head if you need to, remember.
Oh.
Slowly waking up, but maybe not too much, because now we're moving into our final resting pose, our final Shavasana. So allowing yourself to return to a shape that you can finish your practice in. So maybe it is onto your back with the bolster under your knees again, pillow under your head, get yourself warm and comfortable. Maybe if you had socks off before, you can put them back on. Have a blanket over you. And then when the time is right, I will bring you back, finishing with a little bit of sound. Now you can begin to wake yourselves up, taking whatever movement you need. It might be back to fingers and toes, knees and ankles, or it might simply be a big stretch. Taking your time to return back to your awareness. You might have gone on a little journey there. Yawns or stretches, sighs are always welcome. And you can stay in this shape as long as you need. I always finish my practice with 3 ohms, so if you do want to join in, you can do that and eventually make your way to a comfortable seated position. If you've never ohmed before, you're not sure if you're doing it right, there's no real wrong way. The pitch of the ohm, the tone that comes out of you, is the tone that you need. So our different energy centers have different tones. Throughout our body, we need different frequencies for different things, and our body has this innate wisdom that we might not even know what we need, but it knows. So whatever pitch comes out today is likely what you need. So no judgment of it, just allow what shows up to show up. I will cue our hands to our heart, and then when I've cued our hands to our heart, I will cue an inhale and an exhale, and then an inhale to your 3 ohms. So allow your natural duration of your breath to follow the ohm. So the inhale will give you the breath in, and then the exhale will ohm out. And once your breath is complete, then you take your another inhale and exhale the next ohm, and so on, until you've completed your 3 ohms. You bring your hands to your heart. If it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Inhale. If your eyes were closed, you can open them. I finish every practice with gratitude. I am so grateful for the practice of yoga, for being able to move my body, rest my body, restore my body. And I'm mostly grateful to each of you for taking care of yourselves. My cat for meowing in the background. But by taking care of yourselves, you take care of the rest of the world. So it has a ripple effect. When we feel better, we move through the world just a little bit better, and then that affects everybody else around us. So grateful to each of you for being here. The very highest light in me sees the very highest light in you. Namaste. So thank you for watching this video. As I mentioned before, this is mostly for my students who were at Yoga Weyr. They requested to have this restorative practice back in some form since we lost our beautiful space. But life moves forward and it's an opportunity to connect in different ways. If you like this video, you can like it. I'm not here for the YouTube accolades at all. This is just a free video to go out, like I said, for my students. But if this is something that you stumbled upon and you really like it, just like it so that I know that maybe this is something more people need. And I will do some different versions of restorative yoga. There's lots of platforms out there doing yoga, but this was a special request. So I hope you enjoyed it today, and we'll see you again.